Morning guys, Sunday the 28th of June 2020. Hope you're all staying safe, being practical and keeping yourselves out of harm's way. So we arrived up the allotment a little later this morning, had a bit of a lay-in, 8 o'clock, wow. And then I called to see my brother and dropped him some eggs off, with some surplus eggs, so I dropped those off. Had a little bit of a chat in the chinwag, and we came over and got all the birds fed and watered. Been in the polytunnel, cut a couple more of the side shoots out off the butternut squash that were starting to put themselves out in a hidden place. So I cut those off, trimmed a couple of the tomatoes back again, not the two big Morrison ones, but a couple of them. And first thing I done was pay a visit round the back of the shed to the IBC, around the back of the 24-foot loft. And I'm pleased to say that the downspout that's going in there had actually been able to flex, and it had stayed put. And the good news is we've got about another 250 litres of water just overnight. And it's still raining quite heavy now, guys. It did flare up early this morning, but as I said, it didn't come up here until about, I don't know, past 10, 11 o'clock or something like that. And it started to come on to rain again at that point. And it's raining quite heavily now, so great. With a bit of luck, before the end of the day, or by tomorrow, that IBC will be full. It's a little bit of a catch-22 here, because it's, as I say, it's pouring down. And if it does get full, the water needs somewhere to go. And I haven't got an overflow on it as yet. There will be an overflow pipe come out of that and into the next IBC. So they'll all be filled from the one downspout. And then I'm going to put the IBCs facing each other like that, with the tap here and the tap here. Then I can take the hose pipe and literally swap barrels as I need to. But I haven't got the breeze blocks yet. They weren't able to deliver them, unfortunately, so I was going to do that yesterday. And they haven't got the breeze blocks yet to get the other IBC lifted up and elevated. And I don't want to start filling it on the ground, because then I can't move it to get it elevated. And I won't be able to get a tap underneath either. So, I'm a bit torn with that one, guys. I'm hoping that if we get the 1,000 litres, we don't get much more, and if a bit does, then I suppose it's going to bubble out to the top and spill out that way until I can get the other IBC set up. Then once that's set up as well, we'll get the two of them covered in black visqueen. So that's the intentions. Right, okay, so I'm just going to have a cup of coffee, guys, and then as promised, I fed and watered all the pigeons and the chickens. I've had a look in the garden, everything's fine. The plants I put in yesterday, they've all taken fine, and this rain's doing them a power of good, obviously. So the peas are all still nice and green and perked up, and the purple sprouting broccoli and the cauliflowers have all perked up as well. So in spite of the winds, they're holding their own, and that's good. As I say, I had a bit of a trim down in the polytunnel, and I'm going to give them a tomato feed before I leave today. But I'm going to have this cup of coffee, and then I'm going to get into the sheds and start cleaning out the nest boxes in the stock lofts, and then we'll give you a little look at the youngsters. Stay tuned, guys. So we'll give you a quick look in here, guys, before I move into the stock loft to start to clean out. I've actually just put another couple of ties around these tendrils that's branching out here, and as you can see, in a couple of days, look at how far this is across already. The butternut squash just seem to be getting bigger on a daily basis. They're huge, these guys, really huge. And this one here on the bottom, which I forgot to show you yesterday, is going to be touching the ground very shortly. So what I'm going to have to do with that is get a bit of I don't know, probably use something like a bit of cardboard or weed membrane or something, and just lay it down in this area So, and then lay the butt on it once it gets to the ground level, lay it on there so it doesn't get spoiled and damaged. But for now I'll probably just put a piece of cardboard underneath it. In fact, I've got a piece over there which I'll just lay in place now in case it drops onto the ground before I next get to visit in here. It's the old adage, if you don't do it now, it'll be too late. And you may remember yesterday I showed you, I said I'd just pollinated this one here, and I showed you the other ones coming out. Well, I've already opened out, guys, today, and I've just pollinated these two as well already. And then again, likewise, we've just put another string on here, and this one's actually even further across, and as you can see, they're just going to go right across there, guys. So yeah, just another quick update in here, and I'll just show you the aubergine that I got yesterday, which was basically on death's door. It is still a little bit droopy, as you can see. This leaf here is still a little bit on the droopy side here, and this one here. However, it has perked up in the centre. So when you think about it, guys, so the size of this pot is just quite a large pot, and the amount of compost in there and the plant itself brought onto that stage, £3.50 is not really a lot of money, is it, guys? And as I say, it lets me experiment with this and just see how it goes. Even if it dies, you've lost £3.50. I've still got the pot I can reuse again. But yeah, so everything looking lovely in here again. The gales are throwing the polytunnel around a bit, but fingers crossed it's going to stay put. See you later, guys. Bye. Okay, guys, so here's a little update on this youngster here. And as you can see, we've got rather a strange looking youngster here. This appears to be, that it's going to be a recessive, either a recessive yellow or a recessive mottled red. And I'm not quite sure how we've ended up with this. Especially as the mother and father of this, which is now on 2 more eggs. As you can see, the youngster sits, it actually came out of the nest and sitting here. Sometimes they just sit down here next to the bowl. But she's laid another 2 eggs, and this one's came out. And I don't have any pigeons in this loft this colour, with the exception of this little almond here. Now this is the little Project Almond cock that we're trying to get this colour into the racing pigeons. Now it's carrying that colour, as you can see. Now it will also produce, not only, it won't always produce almonds that colour, it could produce them in this colour as well. So I'm thinking, because I know I didn't swap any eggs over, that this little youngster could be the result of that being the father and not the real father. The other option is that, as I said in an earlier video, the dark check hen, the family is recessive red in the genes, and it could have a recessive red father. That's the only other logical explanation to this, because the opal wouldn't carry this colour. I'll see if I can give you a little better look at this. There we go, guys. And I did think it was going to have an indigo head, but as yet that's not looking to be the case. But look at the size of these now, guys. These are only 3 weeks old from when you first saw them to now. So another strange thing is, guys, whilst I was cleaning out in here, I say there's 2 eggs in here, but there was actually 3. Now I've never seen this before, but there was 3 eggs in this nest, and they were real eggs. So I don't know if a female is going into other nests and laying or not. And what I've done is I've taken one of those eggs and I've actually put it underneath the frill stencil cock and hen. Now yesterday what I did was I slipped them a pot egg, because the female clearly wants to breed, but she can't lay. So rather than upset the entire loft by introducing a new female to this cock, I decided I would slip them an egg. You know, this is a technique known that by pigeon fanciers where you can get them to rear someone else's youngsters. So I slipped them a pot egg in there. It's basically a plastic solid egg that looks like a pigeon egg, and the male started to go and sit over it. I'd done that whilst they were both outside. The male came in, seen the egg in the nest, thought, oh, she's laid, and he went and started to sit it. And she's also been sitting it this morning. Now normally you would leave a day to pass and then put the second egg in, but today I've just taken this egg from up here and I've put it in there, and now it's sitting tight. And when she comes back in, she'll automatically change over, because I'm curious to what that other egg is that laid in there. Now this little Project Almond, if you remember, I threw his eggs away and they weren't full, and I'm wondering, he's back on one egg now, and I'm wondering if the female hasn't went up here and laid in there. And that might even be the reason why we got that one. Because if his female went up there, she's yellow. Being a recessive yellow is entirely possible, and that could be the reason. So it could be that the first round of eggs weren't full at all, and the one egg was laid by that hen. However, yet it still had 2 in its nest, so unless it laid 3, it's not unknown for a pigeon to lay 3 eggs on a nest. But it's very, very rare. So there. So what I've done is I've taken that other egg out, and they will at least have 1 youngster now they can hatch. And if I end up with another egg in here tomorrow, then either the white bar hen is actually laying, or B, this yellow hen is laying 3 eggs at a time on each nest. So we'll just have to wait and see whether we get a second egg on here tomorrow, guys. Right, rather a mystery to solve. But no doubt, if this hatches, we'll see the colour of it and we'll have a rough idea. But now things are making sense how I got this off an opal and a checker. Now some more good news, guys, is you remember we lost the first set of eggs off this pigeon here, this brown bar cock and the reduced hen. But the good news is they're now on 2 youngsters. They hatched out, it was either yesterday or the day before, can't remember now, but they're on 2 youngsters. So we'll have to remember that and keep an eye out, ready to get rings on these 2 youngsters. So as you can see here, guys, what we have here is a little check and an opal. So we've got 1 of each. This is off the checker race hen and the opal coloured cock. Now this hen in this that reared these, she's actually back on 2 more eggs now. She actually raced for me and she flew quite well. So what we're doing is we're introducing the race quality into the colours as well, guys. And of course this looks like it's going to be a male, so it will carry the opal gene as well, guys. So yeah, I've just put the little opal back out here as well, guys. Now you'll be able to see the actual difference in colour. It has like a reddish cast over it. Now then, it should be opal, but the shenanigans that's been going on in here, guys, its father is opal, and it does look like it's going to be an opal. It also looks like it's going to be 2 males on this nest. Now I might be wrong, but it does look like it's going to be 2 males. But as you can see, the size these things grow in 3 weeks. And now these have got race quality into the colours as well. And this is the hen that actually has raced for me. And she's a good hen. She didn't actually win any tickets, but she flew extremely well. And so we thought, as I say, I do still have a number of the race birds left, not a lot. We sold most of them. But I do have a couple of the race birds which I did keep back, sentimentality more than anything, but I'm pleased I did now, because I'm actually introducing them and crossing them into the coloured birds. So that's another one, guys. In here you can see the brown hen has laid again alongside the almond youngster. Now I still need to clean this box, guys, but she's rather a shy hen, and as you can see she's just actually gone outside. No doubt she's going to jump off when I start cleaning this box out, because I've got to lift the pan up and everything, clean shavings in and there and everything. But we'll give you a better look at the almond youngster in a minute. So as you can see guys, that's the young almond now. We've had a bit of a clean out. What you will notice is some similarities as well. That this is an almond, because it has the black marks appearing here, there and everywhere. And as I said, with the almond gene, or stipper is its correct terminology, what happens is as the bird gets older, it gets more of these dark flecks, very attractive, and they will end up like this one here that's got quite a bit of age about him, and this is the pattern that happens to the birds. But you notice the similarity between that one and this one. It's even possible that the almond mated with that check-in. So there's three possibilities with that youngster guys, but it's a mystery youngster either way. See if I can just give you a slightly closer look at this. So that when you open the wing, you'll see the black markings, and the feathers, you'll get feathers that will darken as the youngster grows, and it'll get some black flecks, and then possibly in the tail flights as well. As you can see, there already is some, and there's one or two on the other side. Now sometimes you'll get them where they're almost all black, like a big black patch on one side of the youngster, and the other side's that colour. So yeah, I'm not sure that the focusing's very good in here today guys. The light's not brilliant in this shed, but hopefully you can see them anyways. And then last but not least guys, we have the milky cock in this shed, and they're back on 2 eggs again. Now they are full. I did check these out a couple of days ago to make sure they were full, and they are, but as yet they haven't hatched. And I didn't write the dates down, but I do know there's still a little way to go, possibly the end of the week, the end of next week. They might have hatched by then. As you can see guys, this indigo cock has found himself a feather, and he's going to take that back to his nest. He's either going to hand it over to his mate, or he's going to go and put it in the nest. I'm not sure whether she's laid a second clutch of eggs yet or not, even with that youngster, but we'll find out there when we're going to clean them out. Okay guys, so here again we have the almond hen. She actually still sitting over these youngsters, and they're way too big. I'm trying to just get a quick look at them. This one does appear to be a white one. Hard to say what it is going to be. And the other one's a brown, a khaki like his dad. That's probably going to be a female, the brown, and the white one's going to be an almond by the looks of it. So she's still covering the youngster. Mind, if you remember, hers were the last to hatch. And then down here we have a recessive red. Now, as I said, this pair do throw recessive reds, and very occasionally they throw some opalin through there as well, or indigo mixed in as well. And again, yeah, there is one white tail flight, or there appears to be one white tail flight coming on that. Yep, that's a little recessive red guys, and she's laid again a first egg. I threw the other old one out, so that's her first egg that she's laid in there again. Now oftentimes when there's just one youngster in the nest, they will go in and nest and lay again. This one here is rather a surprise. It's very rare. This doesn't usually happen unless the mother really forces themselves. Now in here we've got 2 blue pieds, and these are off the white bar. So we can see we've got 2 blue pieds. That's going to be a cock. It's fighting me back. And then we have another blue white flight. They're a bit dark, I'm afraid, because of the light in this particular nest. But you'll see she's also laid the first egg off the second nest again. Now it's very rare that they will force their way in while there's still two youngsters on the nest and lay an egg. However, sometimes they do, and then the youngsters do get the message and they jump off and sit themselves down here or over in here. And that's obviously what she's trying to do. The ice end still sitting nice and tight. A little bit nervous whilst I was cleaning out round her, but she's not so bad. And then here we've got the red pied hen, the Staff Van Reet. Those eggs shouldn't be too far away off hatching now then, guys. Now here we have a scenario here. We have the reduced cock still sitting on his babies, and they're as big as this. But what I'm absolutely delighted with the youngsters that's out of this. This one here that's sitting in the front actually looks like it's going to be a reduced almond, if that's at all possible. So that's what it looks like it's going to be. Two biggish youngsters, male still sitting over them, so he's an excellent father. And then next door we have the mother, who's laying a second set of eggs, and I haven't been able to clean underneath her yet because she's sitting on a pot egg. So she's sitting on one of those hard plastic eggs. So when I came in here yesterday, she'd laid the real egg on here, and I didn't want to risk getting them broke because I really want the youngsters off this pair. They're exceptionally nice, and I'm curious to see what the next round brings. So what I've done is I've taken that egg rather than risk it getting broke, which sometimes happens when they lay on the grill. And I've taken it, and it's currently under the old boy here. Now I'm not going to let him rear more than one youngster, because the last time he did, he got them halfway up and then left them. So I really don't want to take a gamble with the reduced cock youngsters. Now likewise in here we've got two lovely Qualmans by the looks of it. We've got a very light, what looks to be an opal pied Qualmand. It appears to be a very, very, very light opal, but it's definitely got a little white tick in the eye, and it's going to be exceptionally well marked. This is going to be a real bonny pigeon. Can't wait till it's through the moult till we have a look. But it does look like a Qualmand. The light chest seems to point to it being a Qualmand. Now the nest mate, which is a female, is also very, very similarly marked, but darker, as you can see, guys. So this one here is going to be a female, and that one's a male, definitely, I can tell. Both very attractive youngsters. Nice combination, the opal over the Qualmans. Really, really nice. Two bonny youngsters there. Well pleased with them, guys. Now this hen's wanting to lay again as well, but she won't go back in the nest here. So what I'm going to do is going to put another nest pan in this corner here for her to lay, because I really want the youngsters off them again. And I don't mind if they actually rear them in that side, it isn't a problem. And I'm going to put a nest pan in here for her as well. She's sitting a plastic egg at the moment, but she's due to lay a second one today. So we'll I'm going to have to disturb her while I put her a nest pan in, give that a quick clean out, put a nest pan in, put the pot egg back in. She will take to it. And what I've also done, I'm so fed up with the brown hen, brown barless hen not laying, I've slipped her a pot egg in there. Again, I don't want to introduce fresh hens in here and upset the apple cart. So what I'm going to do is I've put her a pot egg in, we'll leave it a day, put her another pot egg in till they're sitting tight, and then we'll take perhaps one egg out of the other nests in the other loft, or we'll even just use, if she lays again a second egg, we'll take one off there and put it under there so it hatches, and then we'll shuffle eggs around, guys. So yeah, that's a look at all the youngsters. Hope you've enjoyed that. As I said, there's two really bonny youngster Qualmand opals. We've got what looks to be here a reduced almond, and the one at the back is still white, which I believe will be an almond, and will end up flecking up at a later date. They don't always fleck up, but I believe it will. So I think I always know, yeah, So as I say, under the almond hen, I'm getting a bit more light from here actually. There is a white one and a khaki brown. Then we've got the little recessive red. The two little blue pieds. No odd colours in these this time, guys. Last year they bred indigos and white bars, and this first nest is just blue pieds. But that's the fun and games. But of course, the male will carry the white bar gene. If there's a male among them, it will carry the white bar gene and the indigo, as will the female. Really can't wait to see these hatch out, guys, off the ice then. Really want her, and we're going to keep some of these breeders going so that when she lays again we can keep her going. And then if she gets fed up, we can float the eggs off elsewhere, guys. So absolutely delighted with how things are going. And now what I've done is give them all a bit of a clean, but as I say, I'm going to have to get back in here and do this one. A fresh nest pan in there and a fresh nest pan in there for that, so she can lay as well. Now in nature what would happen is the male would continue to keep coming back and feeding the youngsters, as would the female, but they would fly off and find another nesting place, and the hen would lay up in another fresh nest. And that's the reason why she's keeping a distance. This happens, this is quite normal, this, guys. Some people actually open another box and they'll go in and take another box, but I don't like them doing that. I like them to keep them specific to a box. It's easier for me to remember next year where they were, and more importantly, they will go back to that box instinctively next year when you pair them together. And the combinations that I'm pairing this year, like this almond with this reduced, they will be kept as a pair because I really like the youngsters that come off these. These will also now be kept as a pair because I like the colour of the youngsters that come off these. Of course, they could throw something totally different next nest, and that's the beauty about the colour breeding. Alright guys, hope you've enjoyed this. Catch you later. Bye. I've actually just topped up the mineral pots for the birds as well, guys, and as you can see, they're absolutely butchering this, especially the hens that's ready for laying again, and are in lay. So they're coming back and they will absolutely worry that. Likewise, what we've done is we've filled up the troughs with the grit again, and as you can see, they just pick at this at leisure. The corn can just be through on top, and they will pick through what they want. But yeah, keep them with plenty of grit and minerals, guys, when they're breeding. Otherwise you will have a massive strain on your birds. Okay guys, what you can see is I've actually put a secondary nest in that side now, and the male was actually driving hell out of the hen, wouldn't leave it alone, but she couldn't fit in there she wouldn't force her way in there for to lay with the two youngsters. So this has settled the male down now. He's still pecking slightly at her, but she's gone to the bowl and she's sitting in the bowl, so she will lay in there now. Likewise, we've got the reduced cock. He's a bit nervous and anxious as to why he's got that in there. He's just came back in, but he's trying it out, and basically he'll call her in there to sit that egg. Catch you later, guys. As you can see, guys, the females came back in now, but she's a bit hesitant. She's wondering where her egg's gone, but I've obviously popped the plastic egg in there, and she's due to lay a second one today, so I really wanted to get bind it to this nest pan so that she'll, there we go. It doesn't take them long, guys. This is the first time she's had this done to her as well, by the way, putting a secondary pan in on the other side. And she can see that the egg is being moved into there now, so she will go and stand over that now. She is accepting the pan because it's not going to move, and eventually she'll settle down and should hopefully safely lay a second egg in there. Once she's done that and settled back, I might take the egg back off the old fella and put it back under her and give him a different egg. Not sure yet, guys. We'll see you later. Bye. If this rain keeps up like this, guys, we're very soon going to have a full IBC, and even two. Catch you later. Alright guys, so we're back in the shed again now, as you can see, and having yet another cup of coffee. Right, so I hope you've enjoyed today's little video as much as I've enjoyed just popping up here. The rain is absolutely hammering down, I'm pleased to say. I'm a strange character when I'm enjoying hearing this rain. I'm sure everybody else is wishing the sunshine back. And don't get me wrong, I do like the sunshine and I do like the warm weather, but not when it goes from one extreme to the other. However, I desperately need this rain, so yeah, I'm a happy chappy. Right, so I've actually enjoyed and the beauty about it is that when it's like this, I can potter in the sheds and do other jobs that I can't do outside. So it sort of forces me to get the other jobs done that needs doing. And that's another 2 good jobs, as I say. That's 2 more of the sheds cleaned out, the youngsters checked on. Now, I'm off for 6 days again at the end of next week. So I've taken the Friday off, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday off. And the reason I've done that is try to coincide it with the youngsters on the nests. At that time, they should be leaving the nest, or some of them. So obviously you've got to get another shed ready for them to go into. And I also still need to get in there, and the few birds I've got left, I still need to get them separated. I still never ever got round to separating the males from the females. And I need to get that sorted out, get them into different sheds, get them parted. I want to stop them laying eggs and all the rest of it, or minimise it. Cut the rations back on the feed to try and stop the females from laying. And get those separated. Get all those lofts cleaned, deep cleaned, and then we can use one of them at least to put those youngsters in there. Now what we'll possibly do is we might keep a fantail in there, or a female pigeon as a rule, that knows how to eat and drink, and the youngsters will learn from that one pigeon where to go for food, and they'll learn where the drinker is and learn how to drink. Now during the first week or fortnight, more often than not, you'll always get an odd pigeon that doesn't know where the water is and can't find the water, so you've got to keep an eye on them. Basically take the top off the drinker and dip its head in the water so it gets a taste of the water, and once it knows, oh, that's where it is, usually once is sufficient. Dip its head in the water, and then usually that's sufficient. It knows that if I go to that strange looking container over there and I put my beak in, I'm going to get a drink. So that's the reason why I've taken this next batch of holidays off, guys. So as I said, the garden's pretty much all caught up with now, so I'm really pleased with that. We've got the big jobs on, like the garage, the roof on the sheds and all the rest of it. I'll get that other IBC set up as well during that time. But more importantly, I'll get caught up on the pigeons again now, getting deep cleaned in the lofts, and some of the lofts, getting the pigeons separated and parted. The Staff Van Reach in particular, the pedigree Staff Van Reach, they've been laying eggs right, left, centre, and I've kept replacing them with pot eggs so they wouldn't hatch. They need parting now and they need a rest. So what I'm going to do is, on this next break, is get that done, get the other few birds separated, and we might even put some up on the website for sale as well, because I still have too many pigeons basically. And I only want sort of specific ones for the breeding projects really. So there will be some more pigeons going up on the website for sale. So if anybody's interested in that, then head on over to www.pigeonsforsale, so it's pigeons sale.co.uk, and you'll see the birds on there. Alright guys, so that's going to be over the next week or fortnight. So there is the little Trigoninos are still on that website at the moment, but there will be some more birds going on there, guys. Right, as always, thanks for watching. Stay safe. If you've got any comments, put them in the sections below. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, and then hit the little bell icon on the right, and that will alert you every time I put up a new video. For now guys, stay safe, be practical, take care, and we'll see you again in the next video.